there, bookworms. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sierra or C, and this is my channel where we talk all things bookish, journaling, all of that stuff, and everything in between. Today we are going to be diving into my first read of 2026. I'm so excited. Every time the year starts off, I want to kick it off with the right book that's going to give the right vibes for this year. So we are going to be talking about what book I decided on for the first book this year. That is, of course, the book that I ended up choosing, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I can't wait to dive into this one with you, so let's just get right into this video. So for those of you who are not familiar with The Poppy War, this is a trilogy written by R.F. Kuang. It is an epic fantasy that blends together history, politics, and military strategy. The story is set in a world inspired by 20th century China, and it is definitely not a light read because of that. The book follows Rin, an orphan from a small town who defies all odds to get into this prestigious Sinigard military academy. From there, things get really intense. There is war, gods, betrayal, and just a lot of heavy themes throughout. It's honestly really hard to put into words what this book is, but overall, it's kind of just brutal. Brutal in the way that makes you think and connect to real history while also really throwing you through an unexpected fantasy as well. So let's start with my overall impressions of this book. I technically started this book at the end of 2025, the last couple days of that, and I didn't have any allure to keep reading it. It starts off with a lot of backstory to our character, Rin. This is my third book by R.F. Kuang, by the way. I read Calabasas, then Babel, and now this one. And Babel has a similar way of giving a lot of backstory to our main character, Robin. And it is really interesting because it is all necessary information. And just like this one, there is all necessary things to understand where she's coming from, why her character is this way. I just, for some reason, felt like it was like no plot. It didn't feel like it started off very quickly. And so I did feel like just dragging myself through it. On top of that, it is very depressing and very hard to read. It genuinely took me, I would say, like the first 7 chapters to get into it. And these chapters are long, like way longer than I would expect. Especially if you listen on audiobook, they're like 30 minutes to an hour every chapter. But even physically, it is long to me. The chapters, I think especially because it is so dull at the beginning, they just feel really long. But Kuang, as always, really explores some really hard topics in this book. For this one, especially the human cost of war, it is both really graphic and heartaching as a theme. Kuang is an excellent writer, and her writing style always manages to pull me in. Like I said, I've read Calabasas and Babel by her, and both were not only 5 stars, but were in my top 10 for 2025. Her prose is captivating, and she doesn't fluff up the hard topics. She keeps it as deep and intense as they deserve to be. Her pacing is well done. At times it is fast in the moments that it deserves to be, such as those action scenes of war, but she also gives the time and dedication for the slower, more introspective moments as well. The world building is really well done. I felt really immersed in it, which honestly just helped to make me more sad and heartbreaking for me. The magic system specifically felt very unique to me. She tied together the magic with the gods and every element of the story really perfectly done. Rin's character frustrated me quite a bit. She is both young and reckless while also being insanely stubborn and ambitious. And those are qualities that I do admire, the ambitiousness and stubbornness. However, I didn't really feel like rooting for her a lot. I felt like she was going down the wrong path. And that's okay. I don't need to agree with the protagonist in a story for me to enjoy a story. But she frustrated me quite a bit. I did highlight a lot in my Kindle since I did read it on my Kindle. But I feel like this is the type of book that I'm going to need to get a physical copy, like Calabasas, which I still need to do. But just to have proper annotations throughout that and my own notes on it, because it is too hard to type on my Kindle. So I think I'll probably have to do that eventually. Not right now, just because I need a mental break because this was tough. It was tough. Let's discuss the themes for a second here. I think you would like this book if you are pulled in by political intrigue, struggles with identity, and the horrors of war. This book is about survival, trauma, and the lengths people will go to for power and their communities. I genuinely feel like I needed to take a lot of breaks while reading this for my mental sake. And that's just because it's not an easy read, and it's not meant to be, and those reads that are not easy are some of the most important ones to read. I think this book makes you think about history, morality, heroism, all of those very important themes throughout this. Overall, I am glad that I finally picked up The Poppy War. I do think it is a book that is going to stay with me for a long while. I will have to take a break before reading book 2, which is The Dragon Republic, just because it is just too much for my sake right now. I think these are books that, like, if you're the type of person that looks away from the news because it makes you depressed, this is not your thing, because this is also just going to make you feel so disheartened and sad about the world. But at the same time, like, you can't always look away from the news. You need to be able to know these things to make a change. And not everyone feels like they can make a change. Anyways, I'm getting on a tangent, so we're going to move on. I felt that for this book, I needed to give 2 different star ratings for this, because I typically rate based off of my personal enjoyment, and I don't feel like this is the type of book that is meant to be enjoyed or fun. So I did 2 rating systems for this. Firstly, my typical one, in terms of enjoyment, this book would be a 2-star read for me. Now, in terms of quality of the book, which I thought about things such as the writing style, the pacing, the world building, all of the story elements, the plot, etc., I gave this book a 4-star read. So for my story graph, my Goodreads, my journal, all of those things, I put this down as a 3-star for in between those 2 ratings. I think if you're looking for a fantasy that is rooted in history, that is dark, emotional, full of depth, I do think The Poppy War would be good for you. Just go into it knowing that it will be a hard read, and make sure you look at all the triggers. This book will challenge you and make you think outside of yourself, and that is what I think all reading should do. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of The Poppy War. Have you read it? Is it on your TBR? Is it not even on your radar? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss my next bookish update. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, happy reading!